Republic of Maslea is a new land mod for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim by the mod author Anthelius. The mod is set on the new Colovia Archipelago in the Padomaic Ocean, halfway between Tamriel and Akavir. In this mini-series of videos, I will share my review and observations of most quests added by the mod. The focus will be on quest design and writing, just like my Beyond Skyrim Bruma, Helgen Reborn and other videos. In this video, we will focus on the remaining set of side quests. If you don't care about spoilers, let's get started then. We start by showcasing a small but fun miscellaneous quest before we get into some meaty side quests. Okay. So we have to swim and find stuff, huh? Okay. Right. Ooh, that looks like a ship. Pretty cool. Alright. Nothing here. Ooh! Ancient Maslean rum. Okay. Ancient Maslean rum. So funny. 3. So we got 3 bottles. 4. Wow, the corals are so beautiful. The blue water. Five. All right. Bellissimo. I love such adventures, you know. A lot of fun. The Lone Buccaneer Tavern. Okay. Alright, my man.
Yes?
Here are your bottles. Oh, great. This will probably cheer people up here. Here's a reward. I'll tell this to Anthelius. I'm sure he'll appreciate. Alright, $100 for that. Nice.
You've done well.
And we are friends with the Tavern Master. Alright, that completes the quest. I think we are done. We start this quest at a farm called Siagrio and Ret's Domain. It is a wonderful farm with fun little amusements. I love this. It's so funny. Alright. Stop entertaining yourself and work on the quest. Alright. Hey you! Do you think you could do a little investigation? The master has some problems to settle. A damn son of a bitch made a real mess in the cellar where we keep the best vintages. You look like you know of your way around. If you can find the real culprit, I'll reward you decently. Fine. Excellent. I'll show you the cellar. Maybe you'll find some clues there. This starts the quest where we have to help the local foreman and investigate a vandalism incident. We enter the cellar at the vineyard and start looking for clues. Okay, check barrel. A broken barrel of rum, vintage 3E425, very expensive. So this wine was made before the Nerevarine set foot at Sedanine. Just imagine, huh? And ghostly remains. Some ghostly remains, probably from a powerful spectre. We have a ghost here. Okay. We then talk to a few workers at the farm. Some don't talk to us, but one person takes us to the side and starts talking. He says his wife Lemnexi, who also worked at the farm, disappeared a few days ago, and this could be the work of a ghost or a spectre. We report to Fesdas about this, who asks us to spend the night in the cellar and find evidence of this spectre. So we run back to the wine cellar to find this ghost. Okay. Sit in the chair. Alright, Edera, have fun. Spectre. Ooh. Look at that. Alright. Follow the spectre. What the hell are you, cute spectre? $50 solides? It can't be. We have a child to feed. Your father used to pay us twice. Oh, Lemnexi is a wife, right? Times are tough, poor girl. I already paid you quite a lot. All other farms are hiring Ashani refugees to accept less than 30 solides. I'm sorry, I can't pay you more. We can't even be able to heat. What are we going to do? Okay, she was arguing with some dude about payment. Okay, essentially we are getting visions of what happened, right? Yeah, very interesting way of depicting these visions, you know. Oh, the ghosts. Yes, you were right. I can't leave you and your husband with only 50 solides per month. Okay, you're going to give us a raise? Let's say I'm ready to make some efforts in exchange for a little something. Oh no, what does he want? A little something? Undressed, Lemnexi. Oh, what are you doing? No, stop it. Don't touch me. Okay, he wants her. After learning about an event that occurred in the past, the spectre guides you to the well of the farm. Ah, Spectre's here, outdoors. That's interesting. Yo, Spectre. What's up? Alright. And inside we find the body of Lemnexi and a ghost. Ooh, what happened? The ghost of Lemnexi. Why are you here? You're supposed to go to Anthelius. Finally, you found me. Uh-huh. Are you Lemnexi's ghost? Yes, that's me. I never ran away from the domain. I just threw myself into the well. I just wanted this to end. Poor thing. We learned that Lemnexi killed herself by drowning in the well. You're bound here by strong negative emotions against the master. His death would probably free you from the mortal plane. I guess you won't kill your employer. That means I'm cursed. At this point, we have a choice to free the ghost or let it stay at Nern for eternity. It's an interesting choice, right? Will you help a ghost go to Anthelius, or will you trap her for eternity right here? Back at the farm, we find a mage from the Republic of Maslea who is also curious about the ghost. A mage from the Republic. Hello, third-party consultant. Let me introduce you to this four-eyed egghead from the capital. The master thought his presence could be useful.
Pardonnez la présentation sommaire de ce cher Fesdas. Je m'appelle Fertrise, je suis un membre du synode actuellement en villégiature sur l'archipel.
Ah, synode.
Particulièrement intéressé par les fantômes et les spectres. J'ai accouru ici dès que j'ai entendu parler de cette histoire. Qu'avez-vous découvert exactement?
Ah oui, you have a voice, live voice.
J'ai préparé une poudre de ma composition à base d'argent. Vous n'aurez qu'à la placer là où le spectre s'est manifesté.
What will happen to the spectre then?
Je l'ignore pour être franc. continuera probablement d'errer sans but, mais au moins les émanations magiques protégeront le domaine de ces apparitions. Je vous donne l'encensoir, tout est déjà prêt. Sur ce, je dois rentrer en ville. Bonne chance.
Ooh. We get a journal entry with two ways of resolving the issue of Lemnexi's ghost. We can either kill Achilleon, the farm's master, to release the ghost spirit from Nern, thereby ending the haunting. Or place a silver censer in the wall. This action will protect the people from the ghost, but will permanently condemn the farm to remain haunted. To kill the master, we first talk to him. I have to talk to you about the spectre. It's very urgent. I have some reasons to believe your life is in danger. Alright, come to my office. Okay. So this guy, he wanted the wife, right? And now he's going to pay. Ooh, magnifique. Fancy villa. Fancy, my friend. Alright, talk. Why am I in danger? I think we both know the answer to this question. Stop this nonsense. I want to know what happens here. That's why I'm paying you. You remember Lemnexi, don't you? She remembers you anyway, and she sends you greetings. Filthy little snooper, I'll teach you to mind your own business.
Never should have come here. I'll let you live.
Yeah. Filthy little snooper. Achilleon. Achilleon is dead. The spectre should be free from her earthly prison. I need to leave the domain silently now. Once we leave the farm, the quest ends. The consequence of this choice is that the farm master is dead and thus the player cannot purchase a home on the farm. Let's document the other branch. Here we enter the well and place the silver censer. Activate and place the censer. Right. We speak to Fesdas and get our reward. Also, an entry in our journal talks about how the ghost of Lemnexi will be stuck in the mortal plane for a very long time. And that ends the quest. The Blood Canes started as an investigation mission, but takes a turn into a story with supernatural elements. The idea of a spectre showing us the events of the past and leading us to the ghost of Lemnexi inside the wall felt like hand-holding. But it was an interesting idea. Finally, we have a choice to either assist the ghost in its freedom or bind it to Nern for eternity. And one choice also has a consequence attached to it. Blood Canes was a fantastic quest. To start this quest, travel to Erini's sawmill and meet Indesi, who's worried about her missing daughter Menvi. She says she found some strange things in her room. So we are allowed to investigate the room, where we find a note talking about an old tower. We get back to Indesi, who says her daughter dabbled in some basic magic with her friends and suggests investigating the Pelinal Point area east of here. Pelinal Point. Pelinal Point. Is it the Pelinal Point? Nice. No map marker? We have to find on our own. So we start heading east, and on the way we meet some tigers and deal with them. We finally arrive at a lighthouse type structure, which is Pelinal Point. Inside, to our horror, we find two deactivated Oblivion gates. Menvi could also use these gates to travel to Oblivion planes. We decide to consult with Marco, the Brotherhood mage. Back in the Avantina island, we meet Marco. We ask Marco how to use this portal, and he says he will need a sigil stone. we will need to summon a Daedra and be a master of conjuration magic to acquire this sigil stone. He asks us to visit the College of Winterhold in Skyrim. We get an entry in our journal asking us to go back to Skyrim, work on our conjuration skill and get the sigil stone. After doing all of that, we get the sigil stone and place it on the support structure here. This opens the portal, we enter the Oblivion plane again. I hate this place. A friggin' Daedra and a spider and a tower shooting fireballs at us. After killing more Daedric creatures, we try to enter the main tower without a key. So the next mission is to find this key. We fight more enemies and then find this cave structure called the Furnace Maze.
Tell me something interesting. Give my brain something to chew on.
You are here in this crazy place and you're bored? What's wrong with you? Elara uses some good old alteration magic to save time and progress through a few sections. While her offensive restoration spells takes care of enemies.
Be there in just a moment.
Teleporting on a full stomach is not advised.
Well done, Zell. Alright, good. They didn't die in the lava. Brilliant. The enemy here has the key to the main tower. We spot a few cages and meet Amenlos, who's a friend of Menvi. He says she's in the biggest tower. We rescue him and ask him to tag along. We finally arrive at the entrance of the main tower. And... okay, fireballs are... She got it! Holy crap, that's insane. Let's go. Who is that? Ramura on the throne. Valkinan's general.
Bravo, Tarakid. Bravo. Comme c'est divertissant de voir tout ce que les mortels peuvent faire pour sauver leurs misérables congénères.
Who are you?
Je suis celui qui règne sur ce plan. et je vous avoue que votre projet de me ravir cette jeune fille m'enchante assez peu. Je ferai une offrande de tout premier choix pour mon maître, Mirunes Dagon. Mais puisque vous êtes là, j'ajouterai probablement votre tête en supplément.
Are you okay? I'll fix you right up, I promise.
Bien joué, Novakin. Vous vous battez bien pour un mortel.
Who are you? Why was it you who opened this portal?
Moi? Oh, bien sûr que non. Et ce ne sont évidemment pas cette fille et ses amis non plus. C'est quelqu'un de Nirn qui est responsable de cette ouverture. De l'île de Maslea, précisément. Quelqu'un qui a mis la main sur quelque chose de bien trop puissant pour lui et qui le regrettera probablement bientôt.
Could you be more precise?
Désolé, je respecte votre aptitude au combat, mais je n'ai pas pour autant de compte à vous rendre. Pour en revenir à ce qui nous intéresse, je suis prêt à vous proposer un marché. Vous voulez la fille? Très bien. Amenez-moi sa mère en échange et je vous la donne. Il me faut impérativement une offrande pour faire bonne figure auprès de mon maître Mirunes Dagon, si je veux maintenir ma place dans sa légion. J'aurais préféré une jeune, mais vous m'avez bien diverti. Alors je consens à ce petit sacrifice.
And if I refuse?
Alors, vous n'aurez plus rien à faire sur ce plan. N'oubliez pas que c'est moi qui pose les conditions.
At this point, we have two choices. We can either sacrifice the mother and liberate Menvi, or choose to not sacrifice the mother. We will document both cases. I won't sacrifice her mother. What a pity.
Dommage. Dans ce cas,
We chose not to sacrifice the mother and are teleported back to the village we find in the sea. Your daughter has been captured by a Daedra Lord. I'm sorry, she did not make it. What? What happened? Are you certain? You saw her at least? I had to choose between you and her. I have chosen to protect you. What? You willingly sacrificed her? Oh no, she's angry at us. How dare you? It's not up to you to make the choice. How is my life worth any more than hers? Get out of my sight before I kill you myself. Never come back here. Wow, what a quest. Phenomenal, phenomenal. What a crazy choice, right? Mother and daughter. Like, who would you choose, right? It messes with your head, you know, this kind of choice. Wow.
alors je consens à ce petit sacrifice.
This time we choose to bring the mother.
Très bien. Ne tardez pas. La jeune elfe supporte assez mal la torture. Il serait regrettable que vous n'arriviez trop tard.
We are again teleported back to the village and we find Indesi. A Daedra Lord? The demons that our barbaric ancestors worshipped? By the One. My poor daughter, how did she get mixed up in this? I am very sorry to tell you, the Daedra Lord wants your life in exchange for your daughter's. Or you can lie. We have to be honest, right? We just can't lie. So, but at the same time, think about it. This is like an extremely miserable thing to say because she has no hope, right? She's going to die. What? But what will happen to me? What will I become in this plane of oblivion? I truly don't know. I can only tell you what I know to be true. I'm sorry. Well, thank you for being so honest. It is my duty to save my daughter, no matter the price. I'm ready to leave whenever you like. Fine, let's go. My poor daughter. Oh, poor Indesi. Oh no.
Bien. Très bien. Mon maître sera fort satisfait.
You filthy beast, let my daughter go now. Do what you want with me, but let her go. Oh, poor Indesi. So brave. Mama, what are you doing?
So different from her.
Why have you come here? Don't be scared, my darling. Everything will be okay. Oh no.
Comme c'est touchant, je vais peut-être devoir réviser mes plans. Ce serait cruel de séparer ainsi une famille, vous ne croyez pas?
What? You promised to release the girl?
Les promesses n'engagent que ceux qui y croient pour moi. Je suis toujours étonné par la stupidité des mortels. Quoi qu'il en soit, je vous remercie encore pour cette petite aventure. Je me serais rarement autant amusé. Adieu, Dovahkiin.
The Valkynas general teleports us back to the village, but to our surprise we find both Indesi and Menvi. In the sea, how can you still be here? You warned me that this Daedra wanted me dead, so I took some precautions. My former husband had many flaws, but he sincerely cared about me. He gave me some recall scrolls to bring me back home in case of danger. It's the first time I've actually used one of them, but I can say it was worth it. Recall scrolls? From Oblivion Plane to Maslea? I'm sorry, I should have known this Daedra wasn't going to keep his promises. You've been very honest with me. I followed you knowing what I was getting into. And without you, I would never have seen my dear Menvi again. I'm forever in your debt, stranger. I could never thank you enough. But I think I can still offer you something interesting. Here. Smooth Talker Amulet. What is it? A speechcraft amulet. Incredibly powerful. I hope you can use it for better purposes. Anyway, thanks again, stranger. Come back to see us whenever you want. So she used a scroll to come back to Maslea? Wow, that was insane. And that completes the quest. An interesting moral dilemma. We did not know the right choice when playing the quest. But from observing both the outcomes, taking the mother to the Oblivion place was the correct decision. The reward we got, if both survived, was an enchanted amulet that boosted persuasion and speechcraft. The quest The Girl in Red begins as an investigation into a missing child but quickly escalates, dragging the player into the Oblivion Badlands. Ultimately, the player is forced to make a difficult emotional decision. A major flaw in the quest design is the forced linearity in finding the Sigil Stone, which requires knowledge of conjuration magic. This requirement essentially railroads non-conjuration characters, presenting a significant issue. However, the quest partially redeems itself by culminating in a gut-wrenching choice between the mother and the daughter. The writing effectively captures the mother's emotional responses in either outcome, which was well executed. The Girl in Red was great, with a glaring flaw in the middle. Alright guys, we have come to the end of this video. We showcased the most interesting side quests from the Republic of Maslea. I truly was surprised by the quality of some of these quests here. The world building was fantastic. I love the small touches like a new currency and ancient coins. Also, the world of Maslea and the sound design were very well done. I really wished we had a full voice acting and we got to experience the city of Maslea. The mod author had announced in 2024 that he had no time to work on chapter 2, so I guess that's that. What did you think about the mod? Have you played the Republic of Maslea? Do share your thoughts in the comments and be sure to check out the next video. If you are still here, I appreciate you. Thank you all for watching and may the Divine's guard and keep you.